Do you remember the last time you used colored pencils? Because I don't. And so I thought it'd be a fun challenge. I went ahead and picked up, the craziest, most expensive colored pencils apparently, so I've been told. I haven't opened them yet, but that's not gonna stay that for long, and we're just gonna see what happens. Experiment, play around, come on, let's do this. Okay, here we go. And like I said, I think the last set of colored pencils that I had was seriously in high school, which I'm not even gonna say how long ago that was. So I've been in this mode of like challenging myself. And so I thought, well, this would certainly be a challenge. So I went ahead and watched like one video on color pencils, just to give myself a fast and loose refresher. And apparently these are about as good as they come. And they have excellent light fastness, Caran d'Ache, yes. And I mean, oh, they're so pretty and they're all sharpened already. And I know that some color pencils are better for, fine detail and texture, and some are better for like blending and all the things, but we're just literally going to play around. I have no plans. I have no plans. I have hot press watercolor paper. So yes, I am going to play around on watercolor paper because I want to do some really quirky experiments, and yeah, let's just get into it. Okay. Ooh, I'm so excited. Let's get into it. Getting some greens. Even at this point, friends, I have not a clue what I feel like sketching. All right, landscape's coming to mind. Now, again, even though this is hot press, and oh yeah, if you couldn't tell, this is real time, because I felt this video, especially because it was an experiment, real time was super important, because I want you to hear the experimenting in my voice, the hesitations that might come up. I want you to experience it and see it all, because I hope it will give you encouragement to let yourself experiment like this. So back to the whole hot press situation. This is not ideal paper to be working on for color pencil, because even though in the watercolor world it is smooth, that is like quotes, smooth in quotes, all right? There's a fine texture, and my pencils here are definitely picking up on that texture. So I'm just doing some blending. 3 different colors here so far. Started with the dark. Not sure if that's how I should have done things, but that's okay. And I'm going in the direction, I'm creating kind of like a hillside. So I'm following like the curvature of this original line, but I'm following it through here. And I'm working slowly and steadily with light pressure to build up that blend and to try to create some semblance of smoothness, because I just feel like that's what you're supposed to do with colored pencils. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm telling you what, I'm feeling the itch right away to get in there and add some watercolor in with these. And you're probably like, I can hear like some creative gasps from around the world. It's like, wait, what? They're gonna resist each other. That's right. They're gonna resist each other. All right, you know what? Life's too short, y'all. Let's do this. Now, of course, they're gonna resist. Going in with my 1/2-inch dagger, I'm gonna go over this that I've done, the blending. Now, obviously these colors underneath, they're not going to be impacted at all by the water, but there is an effect happening, just, the proximity of the blue watercolor over top of the yellow blending that I was doing. So that's fun, and I'm here for that. I think that's kind of fun. Now, I'm gonna go back in here and add some super distant mountains, hills, and I'm gonna build up some intense color pretty quickly. pressing a little bit harder than I was here, but not too much because I want my blend to not distress the paper, and I want it to be a gradual blend. And yeah, oh, I like these. These feel, now again, I don't have a lot of colored pencil experience to kind of back up what I'm saying, but these don't feel overly waxy, which I find lovely. Yeah, they feel creamy, slightly velvety underhand. This is pretty. I like some of the effects that we're getting. Let's go ahead and, I don't know where this place is. I really don't, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where she is. We're making up a place. I have an itch to put in a sky. I'm gonna let it run right down. Like I'm literally just gonna go right over. Hello, hello, go right over top of what you've done. Cause guess what? It's not gonna bleed. Cause these are color pencils, not watercolor pencils. Okay. Like I'm seriously thinking through this. I love experiments like this. Friends, here's why you need to experiment more. Now, one point before I talk about why you need to experiment more. Hot press paper does not like washes. It doesn't like big washes like I just did. So we're gonna have to just see how she handles things. Let's go in. Now, if you haven't seen my most recent video about landscapes, actually a seascape, I'm gonna link it below. I did a lesson from Colby Bloom's Seascape book recently, and oh, it was so fun. Check that out below. These clouds reminded me of it. Oh, I just love clouds. All right, now got a couple clouds in there. Let's go ahead and grab a blue. All right, now I'm gonna go in. The paper down here isn't terribly wet, so I feel like I can go in with a nice light touch and start to define some of these clouds. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Light touch, because I want to be able to blend out into the watercolor so it's almost seamless from watercolor to color pencil. I don't know, friends. Is this like totally subversive? Like, am I doing something that just shouldn't be done? Let me know in comments if you're just like, what? Who is this girl and who does she think she is? I want to hear it. I'm here for it. You can be honest with me. I got a thick skin sometimes. Yeah, no, I don't. Who am I kidding? I don't have thick skin, but you tell me. You tell me. A little bit of a darker blue, and I'm just notching out some areas in these clouds. When I say notching out, I mean I am actually I'm coloring into one area, and by doing so, I'm defining another. So I'm notching out shapes, notching out silhouettes. Oh yeah. Real light hand here, almost creating like little circles, but super light. And look at that lovely blend I'm getting. I'm going from almost pure color pencil right here down to the watercolor. Oh, anybody else love that? Head into comments and give me a yes if you love what's happening here. Now I am noticing, and it's good to notice during experiments, the good stuff that happens and the stuff that maybe you wouldn't want to have happen again. Because I went right here, the paper was a little too wet and it started picking up the color pencil in a kind of scratchy, uneven way. So I definitely think making sure that the paper is almost 100% dry is probably a good thing. Yeah. All right. Okay. Now, I promised why you should experiment more, why you should build time into your creative journey to experiment. Such important questions. And I am just getting a little geometric with my clouds here, a little graphic, not realistic. Friends, this is an experiment and my brain is in experiment mode. And what does that mean? My brain is hopping all over the place. So I hope you're here for it. Experimenting. Number one, can shake you out of a nasty creative funk quickly. And I'm gonna tell you what, typically experiments aren't something that I am super looking forward to. Let me explain, all right? I have had these colored pencils sitting here in my home studio for weeks. And I was like, I don't know how to use these. I don't have great memories of colored pencils. All the things. I was like whining to myself, right? Just so much whining. Because experiments don't always feel inspiring because they're so unknown. But I want to tell you something, friends. The minute I started, the minute I got over the hump of, I don't want to do this, the minute things felt lighter, things felt better. So number one, experimenting can just jostle you out of a major funk. You just have got to get over that inspiration hump, the initial, I'm not familiar, I'm not comfortable, I can't do this phase. All right. Okay, I am just having fun here, defining my sky a little bit more. It's just really, really fun. I'm gonna go into my mountains with this dark blue and darken up along the edge here. Now that that's dry, yes, lovely. And this is all light touch. Ooh, you know what I wanted to try, friends? It's called that, what is that called? Burnishing. So I got my white. Let's see. Oh, for the love. Oh, that is fun. Okay, so burnishing, for those of you who are like me and don't know a hot nothing about color pencils, is when you blend 2, 3+ colors on the page using a white colored pencil. And it makes for the most delicious, lovely, creamy blend. OMG. Oh yeah, and apparently you can blend with solvents. That sounds fun to me too, but I'm not going there today. I'm having fun. I'm in my joy zone. Friends, when was the last time you got into your joy zone? Gosh, that almost sounds dirty. But no, seriously, when was the last time? Because if it's been a while, I want you to think about right now and head into comments and share with us, what art making project do you think, what's the one art making project that you've been kind of like hemming and hawing about? I don't want to do it, I can't do it, but I kind of really want to do it, but I can't. What's that one project? Get into comments, name it, and we are going to hear it, and you can have us hold you accountable if you want. Even sometimes just naming something, not that you're going to have people like chasing after you like, hey, did you do that project? No, I'm not saying that. I mean, if that's something you want to work out on the side, you want to have like a creative cheerleader that you met on Christy's channel, well, that's cool. But anywho, sometimes just naming the thing, just getting it out there, getting it off your chest can change everything. Okay, I'm burnishing. Burnishing again. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that's pretty. Okay. Number 2 reason you need to experiment more. Let me tell you what, friends. Sometimes just the act, like right now, how I'm being surprised and delighted by this burnishing that I haven't ever done. I've literally never burnished. So even when I used colored pencils in high school, I didn't burnish. Nobody taught me burnishing. I don't know what burnishing was. I'm saying burnishing a lot. I am excited. My mouth is running a mile a minute. This is fun. Okay. So, but the reason you need to experiment, number 2, is sometimes just getting into the intricacies of a new technique, just one technique, just really letting yourself sink into that new technique. Oh my gosh, it can just lift your spirits and reinvigorate you like you wouldn't believe. Seriously. So again, I think experimentation is just good to snap you out of the doldrums. So all of my tips kind of are chiming back to that fact. But seriously, I am loving this. Now, I was burnishing and then I went in with my super duper dark. What is this called? I don't know what this number is or what this is. Oh, here we go. Here's the name. Blue. Oh, Prussian blue. So just that lovely, deep, rich, velvety blue. So I burnished and then I went back where this horizon line, this tree line met this mountainous line, and I am making it dark to create some depth. Love it. Now I can go back in, push and pull, burnish, shadows, burnish, then shadows, burnish, then shadows. Ooh, look at that, look at that. It's subtle, but this is the stuff that experimentations are made of, my dear, dear friends. I am going to go up here. I want to burnish. So we've got a watercolor base up here and then some of the color pencil happenings. It's subtle. I don't know if you can see this, but it's glorious. Okay, this little bit here that I added almost looks like it could be like distant mountains. I originally thought I was adding some clouds here, but I'm gonna go burnish and make that feel like some distant foggy mountains. I kind of like that. So let's take that Prussian and get back in here, and just a little hint of a stronger line in a few places. Oh yeah, it's a little too strong. So I'm gonna go burnish over top. For me, and I think this is important to know about yourself, I want you to be aware of how your mood changes, how your voice changes. What happens when you are in your joy zone? Like seriously, what happens? For me, if I'm teaching, I get sing-songy. Like I start talking faster and I just start kind of singing my words here and there. And for me, it's good to know that is what happens when I'm in my joy zone, because I'm able to recognize it. And then sometimes that's very motivating when you like, all of a sudden when you're like, oh, I'm in my joy zone. But if you don't know your own signals, you may not recognize it and it might just pass you by. And so be aware of how your mood changes when you are making art that is making you happy and is putting you in a good mood and that has landed you in that joy zone. So be aware. Does anybody know? Head into comments. Let me know what happens to you physically and mentally when you get in that joy zone. Let's talk about it. That's a good one. I like that. All right, clearly Christy's enjoying the burnishing like a little too much. Okay, I told you I didn't have a plan. I don't have a plan, but I have an instinct. Right now, I feel like this needs to be a little field of poppies here in the foreground. Let's see if I can get this perspective right. Let's see. I'm going in fast and loose here. Let's see. All right, this is gonna be fun. So super duper foreground moment here. So as things are in the foreground closer to you, they're going to be so much bigger. So I think this could work. And things are often more yellow. It's called atmospheric perspective. So very simple explanation. As things go more in the distance, your eye sees things fuzzier, more purple, more blue. Not that they actually are more purple, more blue in real life, but they appear that way. If you want to know more about landscapes and how I approach them, I'm going to link a video below all about landscapes where I paint 2 different scenes that you might want to check out. All right, this is fun. This is fun. I am being more sketchy in the foreground here because I actually like the sketchiness here and then the softness here. I think that's fun. I don't know. What do you think? Let's see what we can do here. Do I want... okay. Now, because, again, I just want to point out, because I am using watercolor paper, even though it is hot press, I am never going to get the smoothness that I could get like on, what is it, Bristol that you use for color pencils? Well, whatever it is that you should use for color pencils. I am not using that, and so therefore I have some limitations, for sure. Ooh, I don't know if I like that color. I'm burnishing again, because apparently I'm obsessed. I don't know. It's like mauve. I'm not here for it. All right. Anywho, it's okay. I have like a mauve bias. Is there a color that you have like a bias against that you just don't love? You just, no matter what. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a child of the 80s. I don't know. Mauve was just like, I have like mauve PTSD from the 80s. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yeah. Mauve just had a bad moment in the late 80s, like just really bad. Anywho, I digress. Okay, that's pretty. I'm kind of burnishing over. I combined the red and the mauve that happened. Not, okay, whatever. You know, it's all right. It's all right. I'm not loving this moment up. I should have kept it sketchy. So let's get in there and just push the sketchy. I should have went with my gut. It's okay. It's okay. Oh yeah, here we go. I'm taking that Prussian. Oh, saved by the bell. Saved by the Prussian. That's lovely. Little sketchy craziness, gestury moments over top. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm pressing hard here. I don't know if you could tell that, but I am pressing hard in the foreground here because I am after a completely different effect. So I am pressing hard for sure. Oh, this is fun. So fun. So the Prussian blue is kind of acting as an outline here in the foreground, and I'm not upset about it. That is for sure. Kind of want this to feel a little bit like a field up here. So some grassy here we go. That's giving it a grassy vibe. Got to get the yellow-ish tones in there though. That's important to push this forward and keep that pushed back visually. Really loose, loopy moments here. I'm not trying to get the soft blend that I was getting up here. More yellow. Oh, so fun. Okay, the third reason you need to create space for experimenting. The third reason. Here's what I think. If you are just constantly chasing that next perfectly finished polished painting, I'll tell you what, friends, you are gonna be chasing for a while. Because if that's all you're chasing, is you just want to sit down, stretch your watercolor paper, have everything in its perfect place, and walk away in a few days, a few weeks with a perfect painting, that is a tall order if you're not making room for experiments. Because it's the experiments that build up our skill set. It's the experiments that fuel our confidence. So if you're skipping the experimental phase, you're losing out on a lot of learning. So even in the sloppiness, even in the messiness, even in the ill-planned or not planned moments like mine here, I am learning so much. I'm learning about myself. I'm learning about how it feels to hold a different tool in my hand. I'm gaining confidence in that. So when I go back to my brush, for example, I'm gonna feel stronger. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's my third reason, friends. If you're not making room to experiment, you're missing out on so much learning. So much. Yeah, that's what it is. All right, I'm heading in. I'm gonna add a little bit more watercolor here, see what happens. I'm heading into a red. Oh, for the love. That is so fun. That's making me not hate this area like I was. I know I'm not supposed to be saying hate, be kind to yourself, Christy. But look at these little strokes. I'm letting my brush run out. Look at that. Look at that. Now I'm gonna go out my blue again here. I'm gonna make this area a little more blue to push it back. And it's resisting, but it's supposed to resist. It's a color pencil mixed with watercolor. But look at what's happening. I'm floored. I'm Loving, loving, loving this little crazy experiment. It actually makes me want to do like a serious colored pencil piece. It does. I'm feeling like I'm enjoying using these colored pencils incorrectly, quote unquote, but it's piquing my curiosity about what I could do with them in a more traditional sense. So, oh goodness gracious, this has been such a blast. Woo! A few little more moments here. Ah, look at that. I actually love the unfinished moment here. Maybe I'll add a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe this will be a bad idea. A little something there. Notching out the cloud up there a little bit. Let's do a little up here. The big learning moments. Friends, they happen in the margins that you build for yourself. And what do I mean by margin? I use that word often. The big learning moments happen when you don't plan to learn sometimes. Let me say this. I know what your answer is, but so many of you have written to me and you've taken a class and you've invested a lot of money and there's so much buildup. And I think that so many come away from traditional learning experiences because they built them up so much, they put them on a pedestal. And how can anything live up to that expectation, right? It's in these margin moments of experimentation where you give yourself the opportunity to be surprised, delighted, shocked, that you really open up your brain and your heart and your soul to learning. Oh yeah, you make yourself malleable, sculptable, teachable in these wacky moments of rule breaking and joy chasing. All right, friends, if you feel like you need more of these pep talks, I am going to invite you wholeheartedly to take an adventure with this playlist next, because this is all about creativity mindset and how that intersects your art making experimentation. This has been an incredible time. I hope you had as much fun as I did. And until next time, happy painting.